So it's Arsenal versus Standard Liege in the Europa League. Today I'm going to give you my preview of the starting lineup for tomorrow night's game, and then I'm going to give you my scoreline predictions too. I do believe there's going to be a lot of changes made throughout the whole team. Players will come in and players will drop out. I do believe this is the sort of game that we can play younger players, players that haven't played against Standard Liege. I do believe our hardest game is out of the way with when we went away to Frankfurt a couple of weeks ago. So I do believe there's going to be a lot of kind of changes where Emery can kind of like see what players are about and see what they can do. So starting off with the goalkeeper, I do believe Martinez will play. Leno is more of our league goalkeeper. Martinez is more of our cup goalkeeper. So I do believe Martinez will come in and he will replace Leno for this game. Moving on to right back. Now we all know that Bellerin is back. We know that he's had cameos with the under-23s. He's played in the League Cup. And he's played the other night as well at Boreham Wood. So we do know that Bellerin's back. And I do believe Bellerin will start tomorrow night. So Bellerin will be my right back for tomorrow night's game. Now left back, I thought I heard a rumour there was Tierney was out, that he wasn't going to be back until after the international break. But Emery's come out today and he said that Tierney is fit to play. So Tierney will go, for me, left back tomorrow night. Then we move on to the centre-back pairing. Start off with the first one. I do believe Rob Holding will play. Now Rob Holding didn't even play against Manchester United, so he hasn't played since last week against Nottingham Forest. And we all know that when he played against Nottingham Forest, he got himself a goal. And you know what, he's got his minutes under his belt. And hopefully, fingers crossed, that Emery can put him in for tomorrow night's game. I do believe he will do that. So yeah, Rob Holding will be my first centre-back. Moving on to the second centre-back, I do believe Mustafi will play. Now we all know Mustafi is not the greatest sort of like player for Arsenal. Fans don't really like him. But you know what? Since he's come into the team this season, he's done the job. He's kept a few clean sheets. So you know what? We can't fault him at the moment. But there's always a mistake maybe in Mustafi. But you know what? To be fair to him, he's got his head down and he's done the job for Arsenal this season. So me, Mustafi will be centre-back pairing with Rob Holding. I'm going to go with a formation of 4-2-3-1. I do believe Emery sort of goes for that formation in the Europa League. I know he changes it a few times this season, but I do believe that'll be the sort of like formation that will suit him for tomorrow night's game. So then starting off with your first person in front of the defenders will be Joe Willock. Now I do believe Joe Willock sometimes does play further up the pitch, but I do believe tomorrow night's game will suit him to sit back further, so then he can have the whole of the pitch in front of him. He can express himself, pick passes more, get more time on the ball as well. So I do believe Joe Willock will play further back in that defensive mind of that too. Playing alongside him will probably be Guendouzi. Now we all know Guendouzi did play on Monday night against Manchester United. To me, man of the match. But he's got fresh legs, he's young, and I do believe, even though it's only been 3 days since the last game, I do believe Guendouzi will go alongside Joe Willock. Then we move on to the three in front of them. We'll go on to the left-hand side. And I do believe Reiss Nelson, this is the time for Reiss Nelson to kind of step up, come into this game, run at Standard Liege's back line. And you know what, I do believe he can kind of like do that tomorrow night. And I do believe this is a game for him to kind of like get himself a goal as well. So I do believe Joe Willock will play on the left-hand side. Then we move over to the right-hand side. Now I know Smith Rowe played in the last game against Frankfurt, but I do believe Pepe needs a bit more confidence, and I do believe this sort of game for him, where he can get his confidence, he might get a couple of goals, he might get a couple of assists. I just believe he needs to have them sort of games under his belt where he can actually express himself a lot more and get his confidence back. So I do believe Nicolas Pepe will play on the right hand side. Then we're going to move to the sort of cam player, just behind the striker. I do believe Mesut Ozil will play there tomorrow night. I just think this might be a game where Mesut Ozil can again express himself as all the other players. You know what? Hopefully, fingers crossed, he can do it and start getting himself back into sort of Emery's plans. Because you all see the way it's going. It's not going great for him. Fingers crossed he can turn that around, and hopefully tomorrow night he can do that for us. I think now moving on to the striker, I think the striker we won't change. We haven't got really many options up front, so I believe we'll still stick with Aubameyang. Aubameyang has got goals in Europa League. He's got goals in the Premier League. 17 in the last 17 games. So I believe just keep him going. Keep it going the way he is. He can get a couple more goals tomorrow night. Standard Liege will probably sit further back. So yeah, Aubameyang up top for me. So as you can see, my starting lineup. So then I got, like I said to you, I've gone with a 4-2-3-1. Now, I think we've had our hardest game in the Europa League. Don't get me wrong, football is football, anything can happen. But I do believe this sort of game against Standard Liege at the Emirates, where Standard Liege will probably just try to catch us on the break, but Arsenal will kind of like press and press and press. And you know what? Keep them pushing forward, and hopefully we can enjoy ourselves like we did against Nottingham Forest. Just kind of get all these sort of goals under our belts, players getting confidence back too. So yeah, hopefully Arsenal can kind of do that tomorrow night. I do believe, and I'm going to go with a scoreline prediction of maybe 4-0. I just do think this is the sort of game that Arsenal will kind of like have youngsters playing that want to show Emery that they want to be in the first team. You know what I mean? So I think this is the sort of game where a lot of players will go, you know what, I'm going to stand up, I'm going to be counted. And then, like I say, we've got our two left back, right back into the game. They're going to bomb forward. So there's going to be a lot of times where Arsenal are going to be on the ball. You're probably going to have loads more possession. Like I say, Standard Liege will probably sit back and we probably try and catch us on the counter-attack. But I do believe that this is a game where Arsenal can express themselves, and that's why I'm going to go with a 4-0 prediction. So yeah, what's everyone else sort of thinking with the sort of like scoreline? What's everyone kind of feeling what the scoreline is going to be? And like I say, with my team that you can see, what would you do? Would you keep the same team? Would you replace any players? And like I say, if you would replace these players, who would you take out and who would you put in? So yeah, thank you everyone for watching. Hopefully Arsenal go there, get the 3 points, put a gap in between first and second in our group, and then we kick on, and then we kind of like keep on kicking on, and then we move on to the Bournemouth game on Sunday. So fingers crossed we can kind of do what we do. No injuries will be happening in them games. Fingers crossed we go there, come to Arsenal,